I know, that's what I heard, and that's why I thought, well, maybe that's something I need to get out. So I don't know if I did completely, but it seems like it's gone.
Yeah, good.
I really enjoyed your video, Anna, especially the part in which you erase the negative emotions. It's beautiful, very useful.
Thank you. I like what all you guys say. Really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Barb is really good at knowing how to help people, what to say to them, and how to make it real. So I like listening to your team.
Real. Well, thank you. I always make sure I stay in a proper amount of suffering so I can keep it real. Make sure I have enough problems so I can relate to the regular people out there.
Thank you, Barb.
Sure, no problem. It's the least I can do. Little tension keeps it real. Well, I want to ask Jennifer how she is because she's all shy today, so.
I'm not shy. I don't feel well.
Oh, come on.
I ate something and it's making me sick. I'm just fighting not getting sick at this moment.
Crank up your immune system. Come on. Crank up your digestion.
Okay, okay.
Turn your camera.
I'm just gonna be quiet for a while. I'm just trying to keep it down.
Boots, it's not time to be quiet now.
I don't feel good. I feel
Stop
sick.
with the excuses. Turn on your camera. You're going to cure it. Don't worry.
No, I don't have my camera.
Take your digestion.
Oh, you promised to have your camera every time we have these meetings.
Yeah, I know, but Nicole took off with her laptop, the camera, and I don't know where.
I want to see your face now. Don't let this happen again.
I promise I'm real.
We need to, it helps to cure you if we can see you.
Yeah, I'm boycotting.
You know,
well, maybe she'll come back.
You're shooting yourself in the foot. You're on the verge of doing an immersion weekend with your husband and you're going bonkers. That's what's happening to you.
Okay.
That's what's happening.
Alright, it has nothing to do with that I ate something that now that I think of I can...
Yeah, it does, because you ate it. You ate it because you're going bonkers.
Right.
Okay.
That's why you ate it. And by the way, Barb, where is your camera? Turn your camera.
I'm boycotting because Bootsy's not showing her. I'm on a strike. Just to show that I'm not doing any immersion weekend. No problem. Immerse me. I ain't scared of no stinking immersion weekend. Alright, let's get on with it, okay? Bootsy can be anonymous today. I already had my comeuppance on video, can't get any worse.
Well, Bootsy's never anonymous. Bootsy's too high profile to be anonymous. Now, Boots, you're going to win, you know, in any given moment, continue to check yourself. By the way, is it viral?
No, I ate some dried fruit and I feel sick.
Don't drink water.
Yeah.
No, don't drink. When did?
You know when you eat something, you know that's when.
Yeah, I know. And dried fruit is.
Think of it, you want to just throw up because just the thought.
Dried fruit is a time bomb waiting to go off. It's covered with mold.
Oh, please stop!
That's what it is. It's on the dried fruit. And what are you taking to counteract it?
I just, ate it about half an hour ago.
Okay, well, what you better do is make yourself a big pot of green tea.
Okay.
And drink that and it will take the problem away, okay?
Alright, well then I'll be right back.
Okay, get your tea going.
I'm gonna go get my tea going.
Alright.
Carry on!
Another cure.
Okay, now Ross, I wanted to say to you that you are a testament to the human spirit, the way you're dealing with Roberto's illness. Like, because this is your beloved life partner, and he could die and you're fine.
Yes.
And that means you're keeping your immune system up. You are keeping up your immune system. And that's a good thing.
And this experience is helping me in understanding many, many things. And like, for example, in the past, I've been really attached to people, especially my husband. It was something like, I can't live without you. And it's not true. It's absolutely not true.
You've changed. Just in a few weeks, you've changed. Like you've become like more whole.
Yes, that's right.
You know, I'm very proud of you. I have to say, I'm getting teary-eyed. You know, you really have given something to me that is a great gift.
Thank you.
You know, my friend. I don't think you've met. Her name's Lisa. She's a friend of mine from long ago. She was one of my assistants for several years. Long ago, you know, volunteered in my organization. She was always a successful. I can't quite remember. She's a makeup artist, so I think may have been what she was doing back then, but I don't actually remember. But anyway, she's always been a very kind of one of these very successful kind of people. Presents herself really well, and she's going through a crisis with her father's health, and he's in the hospital. And it's sort of very parallel to you, very parallel to you. And she got started curing things the other day. Like Monday night, she was in the Cure meeting, and she was talking about how good she felt, and then the next morning she told me that she had a good night's sleep for the first time in a while.
Yeah.
And then, and she said she woke up and she was getting signals. She immediately started getting signals through her hands when she woke up. And so I thought, well, you know, I'll continue to help her, and she got a password, and I told her something to look at. And then she called me. It was later on, I guess, possibly the same day, you know, or the next day. And it all gets mixed together for me. But she said that she can't take it on right now. She can't, you know, it's just too much. She's in overwhelm. And of course, I was trying to help her, you know, remove these immune dysfunctions that were going to interfere with her curing this.
Sure.
And you know, but they got her, you know, before I could help her. Before she could remove them, they took her down, and she was just like, I'm busy over the weekend, like, I'll speak to you next week. You know, it's like, and see, what I realized, the reason I'm talking about Lisa is because it's not about Lisa. This is almost every single person that any of us ever talk to. It's almost every single last person that any of us ever talk to. And this is why we need to make real rules for ourselves and know what we're doing.
Yes.
We need to know what we're doing.
Absolutely. I didn't think I would make the meeting. I wrote something about that yesterday. But I wasn't attached to being in the meeting or not. I wasn't even thinking about that. And then these two friends of ours came to the hospital, and I could come home and make the meeting. But I wasn't attached to being here at all costs. So I'm letting go.
Great.
I want to flow.
Great. That's wonderful. And of course that it always works out when you're like that, you know. you always find it works out, you know.
Yes.
It makes me laugh, you know, to see this stuff going on. I get such a kick out of all this. It's wonderful, you know. And
Yesterday, I was almost falling into a trap because I thought I'm going to call the school and tell them I'm not going to the lesson and I'll go to see Roberto again in the evening. And then I thought, no, wait a minute, I want to go and have my lesson, my normal life, to be in touch with another reality.
Yep.
I need that. And so I went to school, and then I came back and I talked to Roberto, and guess what? My brother had been there to see him.
Oh, great.
Yes. I'm sure I made the right choice.
That's absolutely great.
Yes, it is.
Well, as far as just talking about, I want to ask Bootsy, are you there? I don't think she's back.
I'm back.
You're back. Okay, good. Do you have to go away again?
No, I just made some tea and brought it up here.
Okay, good. All right, so we're because you need to hear this. I was sort of like holding off till you got here till I could say this with you.
I'm ready. Lay it on me.
Okay. By the way, if that tea doesn't work during this meeting, your next thing you want to do is after the meeting, carrot juice.
Okay.
Carrot juice is the absolute surefire way of, because I've had the same problem when I ate dried fruit. That's why I don't do that anymore.
Just seems like more sugar and kind of grosses me out, the thought of it.
Carrot has a mucilaginous material in it that goes right through the digestive system. It's especially good for the intestines.
Okay.
And it just like surrounds everything and, just takes it away.
Well, I learned
If
something.
you use it with cucumber or celery, it negates or evens out all that with the sugar effects that you're talking about.
Greg, I think you
I'm
should
not
call
eating
Ron
dried
back
fruit again.
because he's not on.
I'm done.
I bet.
Okay,
I'm
so
done.
so to get on now with what we're doing.
Okay.
Call him from here then. I have to call him from here to add him in.
Actually, can you check what's going on with him before you add him in?
He said I got the phone.
And I can do that. You don't have to do it. Just check with him first. Do that right now, and then let me know. I was listening to the movie that we made on Tuesday with Barb and you and Bootsy, and Barb was talking about asking for money.
Call me when you're done.
And I realized that we have, it brought me back into an awareness that our main problem is that we actually don't know what it is. Remember I was saying we have to learn how to ask? Well, actually, we don't know what asking is. Like, we need to learn what it is to ask. Because Barb said something very interesting. You were, by the way, Bootsy, you were great in that when you and Barb were working together at the very beginning. You were really great because you said, okay, what about getting money? What have you done about that? Now you were with this guy. Okay, did you ask him for money? And you really you really handled each issue. So you hear that?
Yes.
You did great. Okay.
Thanks.
And Barb actually showed herself because you did great. We would never have seen it. And the thing is, but you probably didn't know what you were looking at when she did it because you don't know what it is to ask. And by the way, I'm going to use myself as an example right now because I realized a little while ago that I don't know either.
Hey there, sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine, Ron. I'm happy to have you. You're here and enjoy. We're going to,
Hi, Ron.
we're in the middle of something here. So, but we're very happy to see. I'm very happy to see you.
Okay, you guys go ahead and I'll catch up.
I asked Ron to be here because the other day I realized that Ron, like, he's curing and curing and curing, but he isn't changing.
Yeah.
And I told him, like, you know, you need to be on the Cure team.
Right.
He needs this. See, and of course the Cure team has always needed him, but you know, the question was he able to do it? Was it appropriate for him? But I realized that he can't not do it because what he's been doing in his life up to this point has produced what he's got, and he isn't satisfied with it, but he doesn't change it. So now we're going to see what we can do for Ron over the next weeks, months, whatever. If he changes, we'll see if this is the catalyst. To get back to what we were talking about, we don't know what it is to ask somebody for something. Like, here's what Barb said. Bootsy asked Barb, well, you know, she worked with this guy for 45 minutes, and Bootsy said at the end of it, did you ask him for money? And he said no. And she said no because I really didn't want it to be such a quid pro quo thing. I wanted to meet with him a couple more times and then maybe I could ask him. So the thing is that Barb doesn't understand what asking is. She wouldn't never have said that if she did. Now I'll give you my example of me. I realized, like, you know, Bootsy, somebody told me that Bootsy, you and your hubby want to do an immersion weekend, and I think it starts on the 19th, right?
No, the 20th.
Right. And I suddenly realized that I had never told you that you need to pay your balance before the weekend. Mm-hmm. I didn't ask you for the money.
Yeah.
Any more than Barb did, because I'm as clueless as anybody. See, and the funny thing is, we had an organization, we had thousands of people pay their balances, and they did 10 and 20 of our courses, each person, you know, and they always knew they had to have their balance in 3 weeks in advance, and they could give their deposit when they registered, or they could pay the full balance if they wanted it. It was handled, you know, that was done. We worked that all out, and here I am, I started this thing. It's supposed to be on the sheet, and I wrote the sheet. And I didn't put it on the sheet. And it never even occurred to me until I heard Barb do that. And see, what I've always done is I'll take a person, like I'll take somebody like Barb, and I'll say, oh, you're screwing up. You don't know what it is to da-da-da. And the truth is, I'm not really talking, I'm not addressing the issue, because neither do I, and neither does anybody else. And that's why it's one of the reasons we're having these meetings, is we're trying to learn what it is to ask. And if you stop to think about it, if Barb does a session with this guy, and by the way, you were really only supposed to talk to him for 10 minutes, Barb. You know, it wasn't supposed to be 45 minutes. It was supposed to go something like this. He gets a signal, you ask him how he removes a couple of things, you ask him how he feels. You'd be surprised what you can do in 10 minutes. Yeah. You know, if you start listening to these TED Talks, or I mean if you keep listening to them, some of them are 10 minutes and you start to realize, or one of them is 20 minutes, but you realize it's only been 10 minutes and wow, you know, you've heard all these new things. It's really interesting, you know, that what people can say in 10 minutes. So the guy, you know, cures something, he feels different, and then you simply say, may I have some money? And nobody would ever see that as a quid pro quo. Because you are asking, you are not saying, oh, by the way, what you just did will cost you, $20. You're saying, may I have some money? And the person says, oh, well, what do you mean? I mean, I thought you were just trying to help me. And I feel really bad now, you know, because my feelings are hurt, because I thought you were my friend, you know. And he starts running this whole number, and you're saying, look, this is a gift. I'm happy to give this to you. I'm simply asking if you will give me some money. You know, now you know I'm doing good work in the world, and you know I deserve donations. I mean, I'm helping more people than the American Cancer Society, who don't cure anything. So if you donate to that, you ought to donate to me. And the person goes, oh, I see, you know, and that's it. You know, you can just explain very easily, but you have to understand it yourself first before you can explain anything to people, you know. Now, if the person, and you say, no, please feel free to say no. I am asking you. You may say no to me. We are friends. You have my permission to say about anything. You can say no to me about anything. Forever. We have a relationship. We're established together in a relationship. I care about you. You are part of my life. Please feel free to say no. That's part of being a friend. Sometimes we say no to each other. You know? And, you know, see, Anna, like, you know, I'll just talk to Anna for a minute, because, you know, Barb is doing a ministry. And that's what she's supposed to be doing for a living. You know, she's supposed to be spending all day doing her ministry. You on the other hand, are a teacher. You know, that's what you do for money. So you're a volunteer. So when you help somebody, I still think that you should ask people for donations every time you help them. When you get a donation, send us 10%. Register as a church in, you know, California. When you do that, there's a little thing on most of these forms that when you register, and it asks you if you are affiliated with another church, and you can put World Harmonic Unified Ministers in Florida as the affiliate church that you're one of our churches, and then you'll have a church certificate. And by the way, when you're out handing out your literature, sometimes it helps to have a church certificate with you. Like we copied ours. Because, see, here, where I go out on the median of the highway, which is illegal. And generally, here it is illegal. Not in Tampa. You can do it there. It's legal there, but it isn't legal here. So, but what I do is you know, most cops they just look the other way. They do not want any part of me, you know. But, you know, here and there people, like one highway guy stopped. Because I had all my signs on the median, you know, I put this whole series of signs. And he's the guy who goes around, he showed me in his truck, he's the guy who goes around and picks up the signs and throws them away. Because people, you know, these political candidates, they put their signs all over everywhere, and they leave them there after the election. So somebody's got to go. They have a city guy who goes around and he picks up all that trash and he takes it away. And I said, no, don't pick mine up. I'm taking mine with me when I go, you know. And I showed. He said,
well, just to be clear, I don't know what it's like in California, but we have to file a renewal every year and get a new certificate. So you got to keep up with it.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, you have to.
And you have to have it with you.
You have to keep your church registration up, but we Xeroxed it and put it in a plastic thing, and we take it with us and show it to people, and you know, he wasn't necessarily interested in seeing it, but he did take a bumper sticker and he promised to put it on his car, not on the city truck, but. You know, so there was somebody I talked to, and that worked out. Oh, there's Jen. What do you know? Hi there. Feeling any better?
I'm drinking my tea.
Do you feel better from? Do you feel better for drinking the tea? Is it doing anything?
Slightly better.
Yeah. Okay. Probably the carrot. You're probably going to need to do the carrot juice, because the tea will do something, but it may not do the trick. Okay, because. I tell you, I've been through this with dried fruit, and I never eat dried fruit without eating wet fruit. You know, like I freeze bananas and I run them through the juicer and I make ice cream out of them, And so then you can have some dried fruit with nuts and nut butter and all that stuff. And then,
If you soak like apricots or figs, you're not so bad. You soak them first.
yeah, if you soak them, especially if you soak them in lemon juice. Lemon juice and honey was my favorite to
Let's
soak.
stop talking about dried fruit.
We are the dried fruit meisters around this joint. We love dried fruit. Okay, so anyway, that's the. By the way, Nell, it's high time that people gave you a little money because you've been helping people for like 15 years with this, and I don't think anybody ever gave you a dime. So you ought to, start asking people for things. Asking is an important skill. That's what it is. It's just a very important skill to ask, and it's something that if one of us learns it, we'll all be a little better at it. And that's what we have to get good at asking people for things. Now the other thing is, remember Tuesday that, Barb, you made a game for every day. And the game was $30, 20 people. And you promised that you were going to tweet. And not a single tweet ever came about your game. Not one lousy tweet.
I had a bad reaction to that movie, but I can take that game more seriously. I finally watched that thing all the way through, and you said something about, even if you say, okay, I talked to 7 people or 10 people, or, I made, $30 or $50, I can just report whatever it is. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, in other words, you can say, lost my game, won my game. Which
I should probably announce that I have a game.
You see, we realized, I'll tell you, back in when we did seminars, we played a lot of games, and we realized that we had to say when we lost a game, because you will never play if you don't acknowledge your losses as well as your wins. You must acknowledge your losses as well as your wins, or you will not play. Losing is part of playing.
I have to declare that I have a game going on too. I think I should make it public.
Well, tweeting is that, and you have just declared it in this CureTeam meeting. And you're welcome to tell every person who you ask for money too, if you want, and that might be great,
Yeah, that's what I was saying about that. I'm like, hey, come on, can you help me reach my goal here?
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, I'm sure.
You know what your tweets would look like? They'd look something like this. Okay, they'd look like, here's one tweet, it'd be like, for Tuesday, or for, let's say, today, later today. Lost my asking game, I asked 14 people. Won my money game, I took in $132, including $100 that a friend of mine gave me when she saw that I was asking for money. Okay, the next day, won my asking game, asked 22 people, lost my money game, took in $18.63, including 63 cents, which was all somebody had, upon whose car I put a bumper sticker. And then in another tweet, I put bumper stickers on 5 cars today. Ta-da! What does it do to have bumper stickers on cars in Santa Fe? Very simple. Somebody who sees one when they see you will realize that you're actually part of something real. If they see 5 of them, they're, over a period of a week or 2, they're already deciding whether they want to support you or not as you're walking up to them. Seeing the thing around helps people understand what, you are and what you're trying to do. So that's the thing about it. It just makes it visible. It is unlikely that anyone will ever come to our web college because they saw a bumper sticker. Or to put it another way, as far as I know, no one has ever told. Like, we ask people all the time, how did you find us? And they say Google or whatever. But one thing I have never heard anybody say is, "Oh, I saw a bumper sticker on somebody's car," and I looked you up. I typed in that URL. I was wondering what kind of cures these guys got. Unfortunately,
I always tell that story. I thought it was a true story about the woman behind the car that had cancer. I guess.
yeah, that's a real possibility that somebody with cancer sees the bumper sticker and they actually cure their cancer. It will happen if we get enough bumper stickers up, especially. It will happen.
Legend, but I thought it was true. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you, it isn't. It never happened.
I can't tell who's behind it, but I've talked to people.
I told you it was a fantasy when I told you the story.
Well, I've always had trouble just separating fantasy from real. I've told that story a lot. Okay.
So anyway, that's the skinny, one thing I think about a woman who just got the death sentence from her doctor and she sees a bumper sticker on somebody's car is it would really help if she'd seen it 10 other times on other cars before this death sentence comes, and then the bumper sticker then reminds her, oh my God, maybe I should look that up. But I think if somebody saw it for the first time, they wouldn't even. This woman's in a spin. She isn't seeing anything. She's going to have an accident probably, on top of the cancer. So.
There was one time when we had those things that you magnet on the side of the door, that big sign, and there were these guys in another car, and they were pointing at my car, and I was trying to figure out what the hell they were asking about. And I realized after I drove off that they were trying to ask me about the thing that was stuck on the door.
Funny thing about that, I did have an experience that was real. And it was, I was getting off the expressway and there was this woman tailgating me as I was going onto the ramp. And I was, expecting her to follow me on the ramp, but she didn't. And she was going on the, down the expressway, but she was still going at the same speed as me. And I was wondering, what is this annoying person like trying to tell me, And I got really irritated, and I looked over. And I looked at her face, and she was staring at the bumper sticker on the side window, trying to read the bumper sticker. And that's a real story. That actually happened.
Yeah, I remember I had that story at the grocery store where I met a client. She crossed the whole parking lot with her cart and all her bags, and I was putting stuff in my trunk, and she asked me what the bumper sticker meant.
Right. And
she ended up doing 3 sessions. She was here in Santa Fe.
Funny thing, how that works. So to go on with people, you see, what I realized when I was talking to Lisa, or not talking to her, is the case, because when she told me she couldn't talk to me, whatever, she was just overwhelmed and couldn't deal with it. What I realized, and I don't blame her, because she isn't Ross, and see. Ross, you've been doing Immunix now for 4 years?
4 or 5.
Maybe 5 years, and so now you have this crisis, and you're not getting sick emotionally along with your husband's physical illness. You're not going into an emotional spin. You're stable. But people. This is not Lisa, this is everybody. They are not stable. And this is why they need immersion weekends. And this is why we have a Monday evening meeting. And you see, here's this guy, and you're having this series of meetings with this guy, and he's, you're not sure what he's going to pay you or anything. And see, what you're supposed to be doing is you do this 10 minutes, and you ask him for some money, and he says, sure. Here's $20, and you say, great, thank you. I appreciate it. Now, let me tell you what your next options are. Right there, and you say, here's the page for the immersion weekend, and can you look at this now? And let's say you have your smartphone, you hold your phone up, and he looks and he says, my God, $900? And you go, yeah, and then that's all it says about it, is that it's $900, Then he looks at the, you know, you say, you know, you can join the web college, here's that, you know, and we have what's for free, Monday evening, come to the meeting, meet everybody, find out what other people are curing, you know, be welcome, you know. So, Barb, don't type. Don't stay right with me. Like, rivet your attention on me here, okay? Because if you're going away, I know you're avoiding hearing this, okay? And what you do is you let him know what his options are and go to the next person. Now you took in $20 and you have another X number of people to talk to. You've asked 8 people and him makes 9. You have 11 more people to ask for money yet today, and plus you've taken in $80, including his 20, and so let's see what else you can take in with the next 11 people, you know? And that's the way it's really supposed to go. You're not supposed to get stuck with anybody. He's supposed to be thinking about what he's going to do for himself. Stay with me. You're supposed to give him responsibility for his cure. You're not supposed to be trying to prove you're a nice guy so maybe he'll throw you a bone. You're not supposed to be. He doesn't have to like you. He's supposed to want to cure things. See, that's the thing, is that Lisa, when I was talking with Lisa, she said, you know, and there was in the meeting, but this happened actually in the meeting. What happened was she cured a few things and she was feeling better, and then I asked her, I said to her, now you know you can cure things. I made a statement. And she said, and this is a very practical thing she said, and it's a good thing she said it because we needed to hear this. She said, no, I don't. She said, you're telling me I can cure things. I don't know that I can cure things. And I said, wait a minute. You just cured several things and feel better. You got finger signals, you got a feeling signal, so you should know that you cured things and that you can. And I don't remember what she said to that. She may have just said, yeah, you know, actually, It was food for thought for her. But see, remember what I was saying to you in the meeting we had on Tuesday that you watched the movie a second time? And I said, you've got to learn how to get people involved. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember my saying that? See, you don't want them to get involved with you. You want them to get involved with themselves. You want them to...
I'm seeing something today that I haven't seen. This is good.
Yeah, you want them to get involved with curing things. And you know, like when I give these meetings, like we've been looking at these talks on, on the web, and listening to these talks, and some of you have listened to a few. Like Bootsy, how many of those talks have you listened to approximately? You know, the ones on that list that's on my Facebook thing?
How many are there?
There's probably 20 or 25 at this point.
Okay, maybe half of them.
Okay, so tell me about one that you listened to.
The one about, well, I listened to the vegetarian firefighter, or maybe that wasn't on the list.
No, that wasn't one on the list.
Okay.
That was a good one, though. Very good one.
And then the one about the animal grazing, was that on the list?
No, that wasn't either, but that was another. That was really important for you. I'm really glad you listened to that.
Vegetarian ones.
Okay, what about the...
It's really a vegetarian one. Let's see. Okay. I don't know. I can't remember now.
So, see, you may not be absorbing this stuff. Like you may be listening but not relating it to exactly what we're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what
Which may be why you can't remember it.
Yeah.
Like, remember the kid with the skateboard?
No, I didn't see that one.
Well, I wrote, above it, like, Immunix is an electric skateboard. Because if you start to imagine people with devices like that, like if a lot of people started doing that, you would stop the use of fossil fuels. Like, it would just plummet the use of fossil. It's just the same thing as Immunix. If people started curing their own diseases, the healthcare budget would plummet. You just wouldn't have to spend the trillions. You know, the healthcare budget is bankrupting the world, not just the U.S., every place. You know, people are waiting to see doctors. It's awful. It's a nightmare. You know, there's procedures that people wait like a year to get done. So that talk was about like what you've got, or like remember the one about like this is one like what's her name? My friend Lisa listened to this one and she was mentioning it. Remember the one about how to be brilliant all the time? Did you listen to that one, Boots?
No, but I want to now.
It was about, like, you know what it's about? It's about breathing.
Oh.
Did you send your letter to John McDonald?
McDougal? No, not yet.
Oh, remember, like a week ago, you said you were going to send it. What happened?
Yes. I ran out of ink on my printer.
You know, maybe you could try sending it as an email.
You think so? Don't you think it'd be better to... Well, maybe both.
See, here's the thing, okay? Here, I'll tell you what I think about all this stuff. I think that we need to not put too much energy into any one person ever about anything. I think that Barb should spend, you know, like at least with the first meeting, like 10 minutes with a person. Now suppose, to go back to Barb, suppose this guy, he says, okay, you know, I'm going to join the web college, I'll be there Monday, and you say, well, are you going to cure anything later today? What about now? What are you going to do today? And he says, yes, I will cure some things today. And you say, okay, why don't you just call me, here's my number, you know, call me, tell me what you cured in a few hours. I want to hear from you. You know, just let me know that you're doing stuff. This is how you get people involved. So now, he doesn't call. The next day, wait a minute, he didn't call me yesterday. Oh no, he hasn't called today either. So in the evening, as you're winding down, you're not doing too much, and you say, I think I'll give this guy a call and see what he's doing, you know, and you call and say, hey, I was expecting a big message from you about your kids. Oh God, you know, I got so wrapped up in all this stuff. You know, you're absolutely right. So you spend another 10 minutes with him. And he cures something else, and he says, wow, this is just great. You know, boy, I really have to get into this. I'm sorry I didn't follow through on what I will follow through this time. I will call you tomorrow. And you say, great, may I have some money? But I gave you some money yesterday. Yeah, well, what have you done for me lately? You know, I mean, so you ask him for money, and he's, all right, listen, I'll give you another $20, you know. And so there you go. You know, this is how it's supposed to go. See? This is how you get people involved. And with John McDougal, you know, why not just, you know, find his organization, talk to his assistant, say, I'm trying to reach him, I'm a long-time admirer and supporter, I have something I want to tell him, could you give him this email I'm going to send? Usually the guy will say, sure, I'll print it out and walk it into him. Why use your ink? Let somebody else use their, get them involved. You know, for that matter, it's a golden opportunity. Suppose you get an assistant, the assistant says, really, what is it? Which is then your opportunity to find out that John McDougal has absolutely no interest in talking to you or ever doing anything with you, but his assistant becomes a supporter and ends up as one of the faces on this movie with us on the Cure Team. And saying, poor John, you know, I keep trying to get him into this and he just doesn't understand. The poor guy, he just believes vegetarianism is the answer to everything. Now I see he's deluded. You know, I never understood that until I met you. It's just, we're just looking around for people whose lives we can change. You never know when you're going to find them or where. So what we need to do is just not get stuck with anybody, even if they're doing great. We have to not get stuck with the great people. Like, you notice, like, you're all great on this call. You're all great. How often do I talk to you? Not that often. Why? Because you are trusted. I am leaving you on your own recognizance. You're just going to be, doing your thing out there. And you know what? I have a definite feeling that at some point somebody's going to be on one of these calls, and I don't know if it's going to be anybody right here, but there's going to be somebody who says, darn it, I can talk to, I can get in touch with people who are potential supporters. I could probably contact 20 or 30 of them a day. You look at these TED Talks, even the kids, the high school kids who are giving these talks, any one of them is a potential supporter. To go back to Anna for a minute here, okay? You were talking about the kids in your school and how they're not using Facebook, they're using Twitter.
Right.
Like you were talking to them about you, and you were telling them, and they said, well, we use Twitter, and yeah, see, these kids who are, the kid who's giving the TED Talk, he's got like 25,000 people following him on Twitter.
Wow.
Kids all over the world, And so if you write to him, and he isn't in your school district, he's in, he's in France, he's in Paris, and you contact him, and he starts doing this, and and his parents are totally supportive of whatever he wants to do. They're not going to interfere with anything. Oh, what are you getting into there? Is that some questionable thing on the web there that you're doing? I'm like, no, you can't do that. You're grounded. They're not going to do that with him. He's giving TED Talks. Those kids don't get grounded.
Yeah.
Their parents are in the audience with big grins, spreading across their faces, while their kids, and the talks, they get like 200,000 hits on YouTube. These kids, these 16-year-old kids.
I know.
Well, speaking of which, Boots, one of the talks that's been there for a while, and you may have seen, was it's a kid, and he's talking about a different kind of schooling.
A different kind of what?
A different kind of schooling. He calls it hack schooling, and hack schooling is where people hack into the knowledge. They don't like it's not the same thing. The kids create their own curriculum. Did you see that one?
No, but it sounds good.
Well, the thing that's so important about it, and I wrote this above his talk, is that this is hack schooling, what you're doing. Like if you've noticed, you've got to hack into this. Nobody can teach this to you.
Right.
Cure cannot be taught. It has to be hacked.
Right.
And that's why when Kathy DiPetro years ago, she said, we need more teachers. And I stopped and I said, wait a minute. I'm afraid not, there's no such thing as a teacher of this. You could be a coach, you can be, as you said, you're a role model. Remember you were saying that no, don't laugh, because that was a good thing. Do you still feel like a role model?
Yes.
Well, you are. And that's what, that really helps people, having a role model. But see, a role model is something you hack into.
Exactly.
When we look at people, that most people do not have mentors. Bootsy, did you have any mentors?
Yeah, sure.
Tell me who some of them were. We don't have to know who they were.
I just rediscovered one because I wonder what happened to her, and her name's Kathy Smith.
Okay.
and she was like, a fitness guru.
Right.
A lot of her videos, yeah.
And she's still going, and she still looks awesome, and she's great.
Did you
and
know?
It made me happy, like to see her still, doing
Did you know her personally?
No.
No, it has to be somebody you knew. A mentor is somebody who you know personally.
That I know personally. Yeah, plenty. Because I grew up with. My parents were into running and sports and stuff, and so there were family friends that I really looked up to. One of them was a firefighter, and actually he was somebody that got me interested in that. So
yeah,
and he ran marathons, triathlons. He was like one of those Ironman kind of.
All right,
guys.
that's what we're talking about. See that?
Yeah.
Now, most people do not have any mentors. Like they never have a mentor, and then the people that I know have, like Barb had a lot of mentors. Franny's brother was mentored by the best, and by the way, one of their mentors was their father, who, the Dove bar.
Yes.
He drew the dove.
Oh, yeah.
Also, in the Great Deception in the Second World War, where they tricked Rommel into bringing his tanks up north, that was what enabled them to invade Normandy. And he was one of the artists who created the Great Deception. So he's a master, and he's been, for me, a mentor too. And he's a mentor to everybody he talks to, because that's what he does, And that's the way mentors are. And probably another one of yours was John Lee Hooker, by the way.
Yes.
You're saying you used to, hang out with him. And see, because that's the kind of person he was. He was a mentor. And one of Franny's brothers was C.P. Burton. And to think about, how she gave him the Parsons catalog to do. And when you've done the Parsons catalog, you can get a job anywhere doing anything in the art world. Okay? That's it. Like, that's the top of the line, Thing is, though, you have to hack your way in to do that. And in mentoring is hacking. Having a mentor, mentors help you hack. That's what they do, And like she'd throw that like he did the catalog like 3 years or 4 years running, and she would just throw it at him, and if he had a question, he'd call her, but he'd sit there and like struggle through it, and it always came out great. She knew he was wonderful, because of previous mentors and mentoring that he had and so forth. So this is, you see, and this is, anyway, that's why I have those movies there. Because if you watch that movie on hack schooling, and he runs down what hack schooling is about, and you start to have your own thoughts and relate. That's what they're supposed to do. That's why I gave these movies to you, and they're just right in my notes on my Facebook wall. So watch them. I put some. In fact, I tagged some of you in them, so if you might notice you've got a tag, and that's that page of those movies, and maybe you could set a bookmark on the note page or something so you can get to it easily. But we're trying to learn, and the funny thing is that there's so many other people out there, who are giving these talks, who they have learned these hard lessons. And each one in his own way. They're all the talks are different about different things, but each in his own way. And we've got to put it all together. One of the nice things about, like what you were saying about Kathy Smith and how she was a mentor to you, and see, with YouTube movies like this, you can actually create a kind of artificial mentoring system for yourself, where you expose yourself to a great mentor just for a few minutes, and you get like 50 or 70%, which is a whole lot better than the nothing you would have gotten if you'd never seen the movie at all. So you're not going to get the same thing as you'd get if you knew the person, but you see, the funny thing is you can write to anybody. these guys, they're accessible. They're people who are out, doing stuff and talking to people. And their YouTube movie may have gotten 200,000 hits, but you can probably Google the person and find an email address or a Twitter account or some way, a Facebook account, some way of getting in touch with them. And by the way, with a lot of like pages on Facebook, you can message people who have like pages. You don't have to be people's Facebook friend to send them a message on Facebook. You can actually message anybody, whether you're their friend or not. So you basically can contact anybody. And what you should be doing is, you have to realize, like with John McDonald, that with all the great effort that you put into like writing to him, maybe the letter comes when he's in Hawaii and it gets put in a stack and an assistant reads it and sticks it in a file for him to look at later. And a year and a half later he reads the letter and he goes, oh, I wonder if she's still there, and calls, and sure enough, you aren't. You've moved and the number doesn't work anymore, or whatever. So why not just try to make very direct contacts, and if you can't do it, walk away, talk to somebody else. You don't have to don't go through the agony of, trying to send snail mail letters and all this stuff that people try to do. Just quick and dirty. Let's see if the person, because on the other hand, you might send an email and his assistant yells in, hey, there's a new email, and I forwarded an email to you, somebody wants to talk to you. And he says, oh, good thing you gave it to me now. I was just leaving for Hawaii in 5 minutes. But I can read this, and he looks at it and he goes, oh, let me write this woman's number down. Gets on the plane, calls you from Hawaii. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. So you never know. And also, maybe he had a fight with his wife that morning and he isn't going to talk to anybody. So, see, you can't control this stuff. But obviously, the more people you talk to, the more possible it is that any one given person might have that emotional and spiritual availability right at that moment. And I just know that somebody's going to come in here and say, I'm just going to look around for interesting people, and I'm going to see if I can send them a tweet or something, and I'm just going to spend all day doing that, and I can do all my other stuff too, because it only takes a minute to tweet to somebody and say, hey, I want to talk to you, call me, I think maybe I got something you could help me with here, I need your help. And we have to remember that when we write to somebody for help, not to try to tell them we're going to help them. Because if you want somebody's help, it's very dishonest to tell them, hey, I can help you, write to me, call me, I want to give you something, What you want to tell them is, I need your help, I'm doing something important. To do that, you have to know that you're tipping Cure. You personally. You have to feel that, that this isn't about helping or being a nice person or all this stuff. You're a global player who's actually going to change the world. That is what you have to feel. And so then when you you take this kid who made the hack schooling movie, and he's a very sharp little tack, this kid. I mean, you got to listen to his movie. He's wonderful. And I learned a ton from him. And it just shows to you that I can be my age and as brilliant as I am, and I can learn something from a 15-year-old still, and I need to be aware of that, there's a lot of real sharp little guys out there, and I should listen to what they have to say, because maybe I'll get somewhere in life if I do that. More, it won't just be more of the same stuff, And so let's say, that you write to him and say, hey, listen, you might be able to help me with this huge thing I'm doing, and and you already have, because I got a huge amount from listening to you, and I'm going to apply what I heard, you say, but you might have something else, you might have something more. So how's about maybe we could, get on the phone. And you know, in the middle of that, yeah, show the person how to test, see if they can cure something, you know, see how they feel afterwards, all that stuff. You know, give, absolutely give. But you don't have to make it, giving doesn't have to be a contract. You can ask people for things without giving them anything. Don't make it a criteria that they have to get something from you first. You can just, you know, people can see you as worthy, even if you haven't, like, you know, lit up the skies for them. You know?
Yeah.
So I'll ask Ron here. Ron, could you turn your camera on?
Yeah, hang on.
Okay. So Bootsy, give me some back put what you're getting here.
Give me some what?
Feedback.
I was just thinking I don't feel so sick anymore.
Yay!
Yay!
Wow.
Yay!
Maybe the tea or just talking.
Or maybe it's being on camera.
It's the camera, it's the tea, it's the talk.
You're the kind of person who can't be on camera and feel sick. It's just
I
not.
refuse. It's just not possible.
It's just not possible, you know. So give me some feedback about what I said.
Well, when you were talking about how you can learn from a 15-year-old kid, I was just thinking, like, I have these little teachers running around with me all day long, my kids, you know. They tell me stuff that I just get blown away, you know. It's really cool.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
And my daughter's really into this, you know. She and I really can, you know, I just tell her as she gets on the bus in the morning, I say, no, you know, check, see if you have any viruses on the way to school. And she goes, okay, and then I'll remove it. You know?
She's 11, right?
11, yeah.
Yeah. That's wonderful. You've got a real partner there.
Yeah, she's my partner. And we go on the hub together, and, you know, it's fun. It's actually fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of which, you know, I should talk to Georg. Like maybe tomorrow at noon or 6 your time. You think that might work for him? You could ask him.
Yeah, I think so.
And if we get a yes on that, Barb, then you want to be there too. You could.
Tomorrow, sure.
Yeah, get to know your buddy.
10 by 10.
Now, you don't necessarily need to be there for that, but we might want to talk to you at some point, which could be done separately. That could be our Tuesday thing, you know. So we could just, you know.
Yeah. You know, you sent me a video message. I think it was you or Greg. I don't know. But I
sent you a video. Oh, that. Forget that. Don't
okay,
even.
Well, I accidentally erased the code to get it.
Don't worry about it because I didn't.
I don't know what was said.
I didn't say what happened was I was trying to call you, you know, yesterday, and this thing came up said send video message. So I said, oh, why not, you know? And I was in a totally dark room, so there was no video, but I, you know, left you this message, and later I said, but you don't want to do that. You shouldn't have left that message because there was no way to get it back that I could see anyway. So.
I didn't get it.
Oh, brother. And of course, I figured you'd never see it anyway. So what was the difference? But I guess you saw it, but didn't know how.
No, I didn't see it.
She said she.
No, I mean you wouldn't even know it was even there. But you saw it was there and tried to get it, but couldn't.
Right?
You what?
Were you talking? I would have heard it.
Yeah, I was talking, but I didn't want to do what I suggested, so I'm glad you didn't hear it. All right, so we'll see if we can chat with Georg tomorrow.
Okay.
You know, usually when you do family counseling, you don't, like first you see the people separately.
Uh-huh.
And then, you know, I've done a little, I was a shrink, you know, I used to be a shrink.
No.
I did not do family counseling, or very often, but I did a little of it. I did it, you know, on occasion I did it. So, plus I had, you know, friends who did it, so I know all about it, you know. Anyway, Okay.
How hard can it be, right?
How hard could it be? Yeah. Well, no, I mean, with this, it's not hard at all, because what we do is we go in there and we rip wires out until everything's gone, and then you're okay. we once had we used to do something called the life game, Bootsy, and we had a life game. Each one had a different topic. And one of the life game's topics was emptying relationship of content.
I like it.
Yeah, the idea is just to if you get all the content out, your relationship will be great. It'll just be stellar if there's no content, you know? The content is what screws it up, see?
Exactly.
So, Ron, how are you doing? Lower your camera so that yeah, that's good.
That's good?
Yeah, good to see you. So, welcome to the Cure Team. How are you doing there today?
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. I'm doing okay.
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Now, what I'm noticing, okay, what I want everybody to do, by the way, is I want you to go to the A-list on Twitter. But actually, to do that, you could do that by going to me, to Bayard, to the Bayard tweets, because I tweeted a series of tweets. I notice most of you are not. Most of you do not subscribe to the A-list. Namely, Ron doesn't subscribe. I don't believe Anna's on there. I don't think Ross does. But there is a place there where you can go to the A-list. In my tweets, one of my tweets is a link to the A-list, and you can go to the A-list and then you can subscribe. Now here I go to the A-list. Yeah, they're on, but they're not subscribed. Thanks, Greg, for your...
Okay, so what do I do? Expand? Reply?
You what?
Ross and Lucy, Barb, Fran, Fire and I are all on.
We're on Twitter or Facebook now?
Twitter is
Okay, Twitter.
I just clicked subscribe.
Yeah, just click subscribe. When you get to the A-list, just click subscribe and you'll be subscribed. Yeah, Alejandra has not subscribed either.
Okay, I just subscribed.
Okay, good. And
Excuse me, I didn't understand what I have to do to subscribe. Where do I have to go?
I think you already are subscribed.
Okay.
She is because I see her messages all over the place.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, that means that I put her into the feed. It doesn't mean she's subscribed. When you see somebody's messages on the A-list, it doesn't mean they've subscribed.
But she is. Ross and Jen both subscribed.
I'm subscribed, right?
Yeah, you're subscribed.
I just did this morning because I saw it.
Okay, good. And, okay, that being done, I want you to read down my tweets that I sent about tweeting before these meetings and reading everybody's tweets before these meetings so that we all sort of know where we stand when we come into the meeting. That would be a good way for us to manage our CureTeam meetings. Don't you think?
Oh, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're all agreed on this point. Okay, so there's the tweets. It says, do you tweet the latest about you within a few hours of the meeting? Do you come to the meeting knowing the latest news? You guys all see those?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just do that from now on, okay?
All right.
Okay, like here Ross says, you know, Rob may have leukemia. That's a good thing to know before the meeting starts.
Mm-hmm.
I really wrote it at the last minute, just a couple of minutes before the meeting.
Right. Yeah, okay. I am now putting Nell's tweet at the top of the Cure Drive homepage. Ta-da! Now see, Ron, what I wanted to say, and for everyone's edification, this is Nell. Hi, Nell. Hi there. Good to see you. Now, Ron, you seem to, like, I like the tweets that you send. They're very good, and they're very informative. What I would also like to see is you tweet about what you cure.
Okay.
Like, why don't we all make a game to cure at least 3 things a day that we tweet about? How about that?
Okay.
Anybody? Ron will make that game. Nell, would you seem to? I like your tweets too, by the way. Nell, they're good. You know, you're curing things.
Oh, yeah, that's yours.
And talking about them. So that's
Not yours today.
that's the deal. You know, I mean, and so we know what's going on with you. It's terrific. You know.
Okay.
I mean, it's nice to keep tabs on you that way. It's easy and it's fun and it's fast. And so, Barb, what about you? Cure 3 things a day and.
I almost did it already today.
Yeah.
I think I already did it.
See if you got to. Now, Franny? What about you? Can you cure 3 things and tweet about them every day? Franny, are you even there? Hello, Franny.
Yeah, I was on the iPod. You have to switch back and forth in order to get off mute. I probably can say I don't always think of everything as a cure, but yeah.
Make it a game to find things and cure them. I think that for you, this can really help you because I think you may actually miss curing things throughout the day. So if you're on top of this, you will actually cure things. So in your case, it's really important for us to get those tweets. And Ross, will you watch Franny's tweets? And if I'm going to pair you off here, Bootsy and Barb, make sure each of you gets 3 cures a day, okay? Boots, will you watch Barb? Keep an eye on her.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And Ross, will you watch Franny?
I will.
Okay. And what about, let's see, Anna? How about Anna and Ron can watch each other?
Okay.
All right.
All right, because Ron has a smartphone, so you can tweet to him anytime, and he can access you anytime. He's around. He's on a smartphone. And let's see, Nell don't have anybody to watch her.
Greg?
Greg.
How about Greg?
Oh, Greg, come.
I'll make that.
Greg, how about you and Nell watch each other?
Okay.
Nell, will you watch Greg and see that he
That's quite a
can...
game.
Who's gonna watch you?
I'm not going to cure anything, sorry.
All of us are going to watch Bayern.
Yeah, looks better than you.
Oh, God.
Will be a pain in the neck.
Yeah, who can watch me? Actually, it wouldn't hurt me to have somebody watch me. How about, Greg, how about you watch me and Nell?
Alrighty.
You could be my watcher. If there's anybody who doesn't want to do this, speak up, because otherwise we're all on this game. By the way, here's a tweet that I sent where I did cure something and tweeted about it, and it was on April 11th. It's the last time I did that. So I'm a pretty remiss as far as doing this. And it says, told Franny and Greg all my new insights in just a few minutes, then tested that I cured something. Ta-da! So that was that's an example of me at some point actually doing what I'm telling you to do.
Yeah. Well, I think you should be more specific, though. Like everybody else is very detailed and specific within the 40 whatever the hell characters.
Okay, sure, that's true. But I just want you to realize that I didn't know what I had cured, might never know, and I think that it's okay when you've cured something to tweet about it, even if you don't know what it is, because a lot of the things that we cure are things we don't know what they are. So let's not make too many rules about it.
You found a way to improve your, with the potassium and stuff. Did you tweet specifically about that?
No, that's a good thing to tweet. You're right. That would be a good tweet for me to do. You know.
Or when you helped the turtle across out from the fence it was stuck behind.
Well, I did tweet about that. That was one of my cures.
Good.
Yeah, that was one of my cures. Oh boy. Well, this is great. Okay, this has been one of our great meetings. I really enjoyed myself with everybody, I have to say.
You're welcome.
Always great.
Thank you, Ron. It's good to see you. Good to have my buddy here. And Anna, it's great to see you. You know, you seem to be working out as a CureTeam member. There was something that I wanted to mention that I thought would be instructive for the CureTeam that happened between you and me. And it was where you were talking about your husband. His name is Jesse, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And he was saying that he didn't believe in this. Mm-hmm. And you didn't quite know what to do about that or how to deal with that. And I realized that you've been doing this for 3 years. Mm-hmm. And you still don't know about belief. Like when people throw belief at you, it's like, you take it seriously. Belief is an immune dysfunction.
Oh.
And with all and I'm sure you've had passwords for the web college for the last 3 years.
Right.
Give me the definition of an immune dysfunction. What is an immune dysfunction?
Ooh, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, see, and the funny thing is there's a definition on, there's a page. Matter of fact, there's a whole skill about the reclaim your immune system. There's an entire skill about it. And in the skill, there are statements of the overall realities of the immune system and so on. And then there's like a bajillion specific lessons, this huge area of all these lessons. Have you ever been in this skill?
I believe I have, yes.
But you don't quite remember at this particular moment.
I have a lot to work on.
This is why we have things like Monday evening meetings for free and immersion weekends, where, people really immerse themselves in this. And it is because of what the thing that Lisa said to me is the same thing you're saying, that she cured something. Lisa cured. Somebody's typing. Who's typing? It's okay to type if you want right now, but just go on mute, if you're going to type, then no problem. Lisa said that, she cured something, but she didn't know it. Well, there's just so many. We study these things, but we don't know them. We don't remember them. You may very well, 2 years ago, have read this whole thing about the immune system. For all you know, right? I mean, you don't remember. But you might have read it, And the thing is that this salient point did not come to your mind, that an immune dysfunction is a bogus attempt at immunity. Mm-hmm. And the reason, somebody, for example, God is an immunizing cofactor. Okay? Connection with God is an immunizing cofactor. guy says, I want this. I want God, he wants a relationship with God. He wants God connection because he knows it's good for him. He's lost. He's desperate. But he can't connect to God. Or he can, but he doesn't quite know how, Like he doesn't quite know how to say, I'm now connecting to God and get a signal on his finger. So what he does is he believes in God.
Yeah.
He forces this, okay, I believe, yes, I believe, yes. And he testifies in church and all this stuff. And he's still not, maybe he gets a little connected to God. See, the thing about immune dysfunctions we have to realize is that they work. They do immunize people. Like I know Christians up the street, and they started with belief, and but they seem to be pretty decently connected to God. Like there's this woman I talk to all the time. She tells me how she opens the Bible at random and reads a passage. It's a form of testing. By the way, you can do it with any book. I once tested through an entire bookstore and found one book and one paragraph in the book, and it was. It created this as we know it today. This whole effort, just that. And I'll tell you what the book was, by the way, because I bought it and I still have it. And it was the Li Chi, which is the it's writings about Confucius, his life and stuff and things that he said.
Oh.
So, but it's a scripture. It's actually one of the Chinese scriptures.
Oh.
So it's like the Bible in a way, but just for Chinese people. Anyway, so the point is that, alcoholism works. Alcoholics are immune to a lot of things that they want to be immune to because they're drunk all day.
Right.
So they, don't talk to people and don't have any relationships and they don't get hurt emotionally by, their wife and like they're just they're not in relationship with their kids at all, so they're immune to their kids. They're just crazy immune, because that's what they do is drink, and then it kills them, and they're immune to everything. Their liver gives out, and they're dead. And then they have no more problems. And so that's belief is one of those. So that's what belief is, and. So like if I was talking to somebody who said that, what I would probably say is, well, good news, you don't have to believe anything, and I don't believe in this, so you're probably happy to hear that, and, but the bad news...
Get that chance fired when you talk to Georg.
What'd you say?
I said you're going to get your chance when you talk to Georg.
Oh, great,
That's one of the first things I tell people. I said, what's really great about this, you don't have to believe in it at all. Just do it. See if it works. See if it works. If it either works or it doesn't.
There you go. Ron, you're a pro. I love you, Oh, God. Well, I am looking forward to talking to Georg, and I will be there at noon tomorrow to do that.
Okay.
And I guess it will be on this same Skype connection, right?
Well, he has one of his own, but I can,
Well, either way, I mean, he would have to ask Greg for Skype friendship.
Okay, so under Greg's name.
Yeah, he'd have to ask for a contact. And he should do that, and, it's still, unless he feels more comfortable there, it still might be easier just to use the one we've got. But who knows?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, we'll just get it set up so he is friends and...
Yeah, right. That's good.
One or the other.
Yeah, well...
Wherever he is at.
Greg is...
I mean, he uses Skype all the time, so it's not a big deal.
Greg is standing by. Our bank of telephone operators is standing by. Waiting for your call. All right, well, this seems like our meeting is just about coming to an end. What do we say?
Let's go to the 144th.
Let's have lunch.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye. Thank you. That's inspiring me.
I'm connecting my results bodies with everybody. Let's all connect our results bodies. Connect your results bodies. All right. That's that. Good. Oh. This movie was given to you by HUM, the World Ministry of Immunics, which enables you to cure medically incurable diseases. We also produce the Cure Drive in the iCollege of Immunics. This is the home page. And as you see here, the movie that starts playing automatically when the page opens is a 3-hour tutorial film, which underneath it is the beginning of a series of movies. If you click on these links, you go to another movie that's a continuation of the tutorial, showing different aspects of the things that people need to get into when they cure things. The movie shows many people curing things. You'll find complete cure tutorials on the home page. Under the group at the top is another, this is a video and text tutorial, and if you click on the link, you'll see it has 10 lessons, and you can click on each lesson and you'll see that the lessons are movies interspersed with explanations. And if you continue scrolling down the home page, you'll find a huge bank of movies of people curing things. Here's one of someone curing multiple sclerosis that you can click on and these play. Hopefully this one will play in a moment. There it is. So that woman cured PPMS and MS. Here you'll find people from every continent: Europe, the US, Asia, Canada. This woman cured shingles, and in this particular movie that's what she's demonstrating. And at the top of the home page you will find links to the cure meetings that we have every week. 9 p.m. New York time, Rome time 8 p.m. Underneath the cure meetings you'll find a link to friend me. It's actually Byard. I'm Byard speaking to you on Facebook, and you'll meet many people who are my Facebook friends there who have cured various diseases. Many of us have cured herpes, which is what I cured. Also there, if you have trouble getting signals, there is a whole bank of movies that focus on people who are just starting to get their first signals. Many of these people went on to bigger and better things, and you see them in other movies. But these are movies about their signals, how they got their first signals. At the very top of the home page, you will find above the masthead a link to the cure shows. And we documented people curing things on, we did this on the phone. There are shows on about 75 diseases, and the diseases are listed alphabetically, as you can see. You actually hear the people curing these diseases during these shows. That's post-traumatic stress syndrome from 9/11, the catastrophe. We have a show on that, and fever, somebody curing the fever, several people curing fibromyalgia, flu. We had a flu hotline, and there are many people. These people are actually curing flu, and the flu stops. It clears up during the 15 or 20 minutes of the call. It doesn't take long to cure the flu. Over here you have paralysis, parasitic parenting, Parkinson's disease. When you cure something, please join your voice with the voices of the many people who came before you by reporting your cure in our poll, which you can do right above the tally of the cures that people have reported is here at the top. And as you can see, there's a little link here. And if you click on that, you will come to a form that enables you to report your cure. This page is the hub of the Web College. And as you can see, there are detailed lessons on how to remove viruses, cure cancer. Here's a movie on the right here of a doctor who actually years ago cured the flu on camera. You'll notice that skill 1 in the hierarchy of skills is cure physical diseases. That's actually the easiest thing with this particular approach. And I've put a great many things in the hierarchy of skills that relate to curing physical diseases, such as ending trauma, working on your organs. Now, if we go into the Recode Your DNA, there are 10 applications or 11 applications, and Recode Your DNA is one of them. If we go inside here, what we see is a page with a huge amount of links. And then if we look at the links on the right, after the ones on the left which prepare you, these are the actual lessons. And you can see some of them. It might be hard for some people to see why blind installation procedure is related to recoding your DNA. And this is why we've put it in this application, so that it relates it in your mind. This is the reason the Web College is organized the way it is to relate things for you in your mind. And obviously there are a huge number of things, like if you're curing cancer or herpes or any medically incurable disease, it's obvious that there are a great many things that you have to learn. And they're different for everybody. You do not have to learn everything that's listed here. And in fact, cure is instantaneous. And it's always unexpected how it will come. Like, watch these women. They're going to give you a perspective. This is a good way to conclude this little overview I'm giving you here. Say, can I go to the 144th dimension? See if you get a signal on that. Can I go to the 144th dimension?
Can I go to the 144th dimension? Yes? I guess I can.
Go ahead and do it.
Okay, both of you go to the 144th dimension.
I'm taking myself to the 144th dimension.
Me too.
No stopping for gas on the 8th dimension.
I feel clear.
I feel less interested in anything below the 144th dimension.
Can we stay here all the time?
I know, exactly.
Well, I mean, this would take a lot of backstory, but there are some decisions that my family's making that I now feel clear about.
Yes, because when you have that perspective from the 144th dimension,
Yeah.
you simply don't care about anything as much.
That's exactly it. But I don't care doesn't sound so good.
Well, see, that's right.
That is it. That's really
not in effect.
When people hear we say we don't care, they go, "Well, God, that's sick," you know.
Okay, I know. It's the good